Are you ready for Friday Fun Day with Sarah? That's me. Well, today we're going to make something super fun. Last week, on our live video, I showed you this little frame that I made. It can be a picture frame, it can be an ornament, a tie for a gift, or a magnet. So it has lots of possibilities of what you can make. I made another one just so you can see it a little bit different. I took a picture of my little Maximo. Oh, that's crooked. There we go. And put it in the frame. I added a little dog paw. I put the magnet because I want to put this on my refrigerator. And then, of course, I made a tie just in case I change my mind and want to put it on my Christmas tree or maybe hang it on a gift tag. They're super easy, super fun, and I'm going to show you how to make some today. Now, you can find the complete instructions, materials list, stitches, and all those things. I have put that down in the notes in that description box so you can have all that information. All you have to do is tag that thing that says see more or the little arrow on the side, and you have all the information that you need to make one of these or a bunch of these. But I'm going to tell you what you need as well. Alrighty, let's do that now. Now remember those plastic bracelets we used a few weeks back to make our wind socks? I bet you've got some left, but if not, you need one per frame. These are just plastic children's bracelets. If you don't have one of these, you can go to Hobby Lobby, Michael's, any of your craft stores. I think even Walmart has plastic rings in their upholstery department as well as over in their craft department. They also have little metal, and you need one that's going to be approximately 3 inches across. All right, I like the plastic ones because they're lighter. All right, now the other thing you're going to need is a picture. And I printed off another picture of Maximo and Rosie, and I printed it on cardstock. You can use regular paper if you want to. I just like the cardstock because it's a little bit sturdier. And I'm going to be using this picture of my puppies to make the one we're going to make today. You're going to also need some adhesive magnetic sheets. Now, I purchased these at the, I think it was Walmart over by the photo albums. You can also find it over by the craft supplies sometimes, or over by the shipping and labels, because a lot of people print magnets to put their business cards on. You can also find this at the Dollar Tree down that craft aisle, and you get a big sheet. And I did, I think, 7. I did 7, not 9, off of one sheet, and I saved this circle for today's demonstration. If you do not want to do the adhesive magnet, you're not going to put them on the fridge, you can just use the back of your picture. It'll work just fine. But if you're not going to use the magnetic that has the sticky on it, you probably want to grab some E6000 or your glue gun with some glue in order to glue that onto the back. And I'll talk more about that when we get to that portion of the project. You're going to need a pen or a pencil, and that's just to draw around. And of course, I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. We're going to be stitching the crochet frame on the bracelet or circle with our H hook, which is a 5.0 millimeter crochet hook. And you just need a small amount of yarn. I'm going to do the main portion that looks kind of like a flower out of this blue, and I'll use a little bit of red for the tag. And I'm going to embellish with this blue button because I think it kind of looks like a doghouse, even though it's not a doghouse, it's a pentagon shape. You can see this one I used a dog paw button, and that one I just used a flower. The button is just for embellishment, and you can add as many buttons as you want to. You can add ribbons, bows, anything that you want, hearts. You can glue on anything you want to decorate that up. Make it personal. Use your own imagination. All right, and so those are the things that we're going to need for today's project. The first thing that we're going to do is prepare the picture and the magnet sheet for our frame. So we're going to take our ring and we're going to put it where we would like to have that show. And then we're going to draw a circle on the outside of that ring. Turn this so I can do this side since I am right-handed. All right, and now I've made the ring and I'm going to cut this, but I'm not going to cut it right on that line. I'm going to cut it about a 1/2 inch, maybe a 1/4 of an inch, just a little bit bigger than where I made that ring. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle because it won't be showing at all. We just want to make sure that we cut it around just a little bit bigger than what we drew. All right. Now we're going to take our magnetic sheet. If you're not going to make yours magnetic, you can skip this step. I do recommend if you're not going to make it magnetic, that when you print off a picture or a picture that you're going to use, make sure it's on cardstock so it's a little bit stronger. All right, so now we're going to put our circle on our magnet like this, and we're just going to cut around. There we go. Now you'll notice that my picture needs a little bit of trimming. And that's why we went ahead and cut it bigger, because we want the picture to fit in the magnet and have an edge of adhesive when we take the back off. So now we're going to go back and trim our picture just right on that line. And it seems like it's not important to do it this way, but I have found that it works best this way because we want a little edge on our picture so that the magnet edge is out. And that's because the next thing we're going to do is take off the back of our magnet, the adhesive portion. There we go. And now we're going to center our picture in the center of that adhesive portion. Okay, and that's going to give us this edge where it's sticky to stick onto the back of our frame once we get it completed. We're going to set this aside so nothing touches that sticky portion of our magnet. We're going to take our ring, make our slip knot, put our slip knot through the ring, through our hook, and do a little chain 1 there just to get it up on top of the ring. And now we're going to single crochet 32 stitches around this ring. So go in, pull up your loop, yarn over, go through 2 loops. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and there's 10, 11, 12. I have stitched 32 single crochets around my ring. I'm going to join to this first single crochet with a slip stitch and chain 1. So you have 32 single crochets around your ring. Now we're going to go right in that first stitch and stitch a single crochet. We're going to skip the next, and then in the next stitch we're going to stitch 2 double crochets. 1, 2. We're going to chain 1 and stitch 2 more double crochets in that same stitch. 1 and 2. That's our first shell stitch. We'll skip the next and single crochet in the next. Skip the next and stitch our shell stitch, which is 2 double crochets. 1, 2, chain 1, and 2 more double crochets in the same stitch. Second shell. Skip the next, single crochet in the next. And so we'll continue to repeat this around. Skip the next stitch, stitch our shell stitch in the next, which again is 2 double crochets, chain 1, and 2 double crochets. Skip the next, and single crochet in the next. And we'll continue to repeat this, working all the way around. Shell stitch, which is 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets, skip the next, single crochet in the next, skip the next, shell stitch in the next. So I've repeated this around, and you're going to have 8 shell stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. There's my last one. I'm going to skip that next stitch, and I'm going to join to that first single crochet with a slip stitch. And then we'll go ahead and cut that yarn. I'm going to go to the back, grab that loop, and pull that to the back, which makes the front lay much nicer. All right, let's turn it to the back. We're going to grab these 2. I'm going to go in and grab that piece of yarn there from our beginning tail. There we go. And bring it up. And we're just going to tie this. We could weave it in, but I like to tie it on this particular project because I want it to stay put. All right, so we've clipped that, and now we have our picture frame. Now it's time to embellish it just a little bit so it looks pretty to add our picture. So I'm going to sew the button on next. I'm going to grab a piece of this blue yarn that we've already been using, and I like to put the button right at the top where we started. That way it kind of covers it up if there wasn't, exactly perfect. You can put it at a shell stitch if you want, or you can put it at the join. I like to put it there. So I'm going to come up from the back. I'm going to make a stitch first. And make sure when you make your stitch, you're going through a stitch and not a hole between the stitches. All right, so I'm just going to grab my button. I'm going to go through to the back, and I'm going to sew it a couple of times just so it stays where I want it to be and it's secure. Well, it's not going to be buttoning anything. It's just, and I put mine on upside down, didn't I? It's okay. I don't mind. We are going to tie a knot again. There we go. And I like to tie 3 knots. Make sure that button's going to stay secure. So we've attached our button, and it's nice and secure with that knot. If you want to make sure, you can use some of this Fray Check fabric glue, no sew, or you can use some of your E6000 or hot glue and dab that onto that knot. Just keep in mind, if you're going to use this outside, it's better to use this glue or your E6000, because remember, hot glue is just basically plastic and is affected by hot and cold weather. Okay, so now I'm going to just make that little hanger. I'm going to take my red thread, put it on my needle. We're just going to go behind here and make sure I'm staying behind the button and make a loop. Just go through some of those stitches. And then I just tie the ends. If they're uneven, I'll trim them. If they're not, then I don't worry about it. All right, so now I have my frame with my embellishment. All right, so now I'm going to grab this, and we're going to add this to this. So I have this sticky edge from my magnet where I pulled off that adhesive tape, and it's nice and sticky. And so all I'm going to do is center that and then press securely. Now, if you're worried that that's not going to stay put, you can add a little bit of hot glue or E6000 to the edges. And what I do is I just sort of lift it a little. That's all nice and secure. So I'll just put like a little dot under there and press. And just a couple of places. That way I know it's going to stay, although I have not had one come off yet. So that adhesive is pretty strong. Okay, now you can also do that with your hot glue, especially if it's going to stay in the house. If you're not using the magnet adhesive, I suggest using your hot glue or your E6000, putting it around the picture and then pressing it on like I did with the magnet. Because the thing is, we don't want that picture coming out. It's precious to us. And these are usually going to be given as a gift, though I'm going to be keeping mine. I love pictures of my puppies. And that's just how easy it is to make these fun little frames. Wasn't that a lot of fun? It's a super easy way to make precious keepsakes for your family, to hang on the walls, to put on gift tags, or even to hang on your Christmas tree. Take those memories that you've made and make a precious piece.